my audio.
It works.
Okay.
Yay. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. The Senior Commission of the Los Altos and Los Altos Hills is hereby called to order. All in favor of ordering? Cheeseburger. All right, let's go ahead and take roll. Jamie, could you please?
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and start with Commissioner Nagao,
Here.
Commissioner Buckholz,
Here.
Commissioner O'Reilly,
Here.
Commissioner Dixit,
Present.
and Vice Chair Lee.
Here.
And we will note absent, we have Commissioner Basigi and Commissioner Chair Cohen. But we do have a quorum to continue the meeting.
Thank you very much. And our next step is the Pledge of Allegiance. Can we? Thank you, Candace. Very good. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
for all.
Very good. Next up, we have public comments on items not on the agenda. Is there any public commentary?
Okay, I will give it just a moment to see if anyone raises their hand. I am not currently seeing anyone of the public in attendance except for those commissioners and liaisons to the commission. I will update you, Vice Chair Lee, if that changes, but I am not currently seeing any hands raised at this time.
Thank you. Let's proceed. Items for consideration and action. Number one, our minutes. Do we have any comments on the minutes of September 12th? I'm not hearing any comments. I move that we approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
We
All
do
opposed?
need a second. We do need a second, so we do have it motioned by Vice Chair Lee. Is there a second?
Second. Buckholz seconds.
Okay. Seconded by Commissioner Buckholz, and I'll turn it back over to you, Vice Chair Lee, to call for the ayes, nays, or abstentions.
All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
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 Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.
Abstain. I was absent for the meeting.
Very good, thank you. Okay. Item number 2, recertify Los Altos as an age-friendly city. And Commissioner Buckholz.
I had the pleasure of speaking with Jamie as well as Annabelle Pelham about what can we do before we receive financing from the city. And Jamie made a really good suggestion, is that if we can find small things that we can do to increase the participation in the existing activities of Parks and Rec, then this would go in a very positive, persuasive fashion to the council. So as Jamie mentioned, the turnout for the programs in this spotlight is less than is desired. So the thought is, if we commissioners can use our own networks to invite people either just tell them about what's going on, or particularly invite them to have a tour of the community center, then at least we have a chance of enticing them to become more active. Does everybody know the program SIRS? SIRS?
Yeah.
What's the last S stand for, Ken? Sons in retirement.
I think it's just a plural.
Okay. Is that plural of retirements or plural of sons?
Seniors in retirement, sons. It's a good
Sorry,
question.
I had a very strong grammar teacher in the 7th grade. So they have speakers, because I've spoken there before. So it seems at least ordinary to contact them and find out if they would be interested in learning more about age-friendly city certification. The other thing, when I spoke with Annabelle, the issue of, well, what about focus groups where the person is in Mountain View and not Los Altos? And she said that this is okay, particularly if they have some special knowledge that they can supply. So I think that we can use our contacts to look for a cadre of people who would be knowledgeable about the unmet needs of seniors. You were wondering about how do we make a decision about unmet needs until we have a focus groups. I think some are going to be pretty obvious. Housing is universally a problem. And so getting the senior part of the housing element, is that printable or publishable, Jamie?
I believe so, yes.
Then at least we should read that so that we could have some talking. Because what we can do is inform people that this is a program that is very likely to influence their lives if they live here. The traffic brouhaha with bumps on Cuesta, that affected a fair number of people. And other issues are going to come up where if people are forewarned, it isn't that they'll be forearmed, but they can think about what they want. And so in a certain sense, we're soliciting input when we talk to anybody on what they think unmet needs are for the city. And so that's what our kind of oversight committee has been doing. I wonder if is there feedback that we can get on what the council is feeling? Yes.
Well, one of the things that I can think of is that if people like you who have spoken at events like SIRS before would come in to all the little gatherings that different groups have. I know that the newspaper talks about the Kiwanis and some other groups, the PETS group or whatever group. And I have the seniors of the Indian group. If people like you could come there and talk about, just talk about this, the age-friendly and the needs assessment, even that would help. Because if we don't look at the avenues that we are already using to create awareness, then perhaps somebody needs to come in and talk. And that can be easily done because these little groups are already meeting.
Absolutely.
But we need a spokesperson like you.
I don't know that I can be the only speaker for the group. In fact, I don't think that's right. So I need other people who would represent the will of the commission. I see a very busy woman there in new glasses who's holding her hand up to volunteer.
No,
Thank
I'm
you.
not going to
But,
volunteer.
you know, you
for
just
this.
volunteered. This is the Army and you volunteered.
No, I didn't. No, this isn't something that I would be good at because I don't know enough about it. But perhaps you can start and I can facilitate.
Chris, you've done a lot of public speaking.
Well, but I don't know if there's any element that I would consider myself well-versed in.
Well, you have been so active in the senior center at Grant.
Well, I would be open to talk about what that would look like and see how it goes. Sure.
Maybe you can coach us. Maybe you can coach a bunch of
I
us to get ready.
make a suggestion, because I know there's, and all of the commissioners want to be knowledgeable, and sometimes that aspect, what we could do, and maybe that is something that the recertification subcommittee could work on, is maybe just a summary or talking points, because we are talking about just awareness, bringing, making sure that more of the adult 50 plus community is aware of what the Senior Commission is hoping to achieve. And so maybe we start with that piece, because awareness takes time. It is not something that will just all of a sudden happen after one meeting or two meetings. That community outreach and kind of grassroots efforts does take a little bit of time. And so I think to Commissioner Buckholz's suggestion is that when we start with these little groups, it will hopefully grow to the point where when we are ready, we have the funding and we can start moving forward. It's not the first time that these groups or community members are hearing about it. I think it would put us at a disadvantage if we wait. So I think this is a great idea, and we can work on, obviously together, on what those elements would be important to highlight. And doesn't have to be a full presentation, because again, that's why we're choosing to hopefully work with a consultant with CAFE and maybe go that route, because they are the experts in this area. But again, this beginning portion of it is to start introducing these topics and ideas, just food for thought, if you have that perspective.
Thank you, Jamie. Is your hand up, Tony? Or is it just
no, sorry. Stretching.
You know, you could buy something at an auction if you do things like that. I really wonder any of the things that any commission members think about as, gosh, this would be a good idea to do something about.
Well, I read, you know, I was looking through the housing element, for instance, of for Los Altos, which is a fairly massive document. But they do have a section for seniors, so I concentrated on that. And I look at some of the issues, reading the reports from San Rafael and also from Sunnyvale. They had looked at this a couple of years ago, and there's a great commonality. Issues that seniors are dealing with in the area of housing and also transportation. So there's, you know, we're not very unique in that. Our demographic faces much the same set of issues right across the Bay Area. It's just an observation. I think Jamie's idea of getting ahead of the the ball a bit and maybe talking to some groups and essay just to heighten awareness that people are looking at this. And we're going to be gathering more information when and if we get the funding for the survey. I think there's a lot of merit to that.
I don't go on Facebook or any social media. Does anybody else have some presence in the social media? Zero? Are we?
No,
Well, that's
not
half an
zero.
inch. I think Tony said
Not
about
zero.
half an
I
inch.
do. Yeah, I do. But
Good.
what is it that you're asking about?
Oh, but just that's a means of contact.
Oh yes, I do. But I generally tend to just connect with my friends.
Does anybody else use Nextdoor? That's about the only group that I'm registered with. And so I don't know, is it fair to ask if there are any people or groups that would be interested in knowing more about Age Friendly? I mean, the purpose is to get people to know about and ultimately be friendly to the existing services for seniors. Chris?
So the problem with using social networking, Bill, is that we're going to get a lot of very, very small footprint from personal accounts. And so if we want to go that route, we really, really want to have people, staff members in the city who control the city's social media accounts to help us out. And I assume that's not a problem. But yeah, we can definitely do that.
Can you raise your hand?
We talked about this again, the engaging the faith communities. It's a great aspect. I mean, I think they probably, as a group, have a best look at the needs of seniors than anybody in the communities.
Well, certainly those are the only people who go to the buildings.
But it's that looking out for your neighbor ethic that runs very strongly through faith communities, even though people might not be participating in services and activities they're known about. And
Chris, you or Shivari, you?
Yeah, I just thought that since we have opened up a lot now, what if we just put up notices in Los Altos downtown and picked a date when we could all meet up at maybe Starbucks or Pete's or outside at a time where a lot of seniors would be coming for either a walk or just to sit and sunbathe, and then talk to them over coffee. But
That's doable. I think
I don't know.
the existing farmers market is already a program that has a lot of people going to it. And it isn't just seniors, it's the children of seniors whom we need to get in touch with also, because they're caregivers for their parents. So going to PTAs is not wasted time.
And to Commissioner Buchholz's suggestion, when I was assisting as a liaison to the Library Redevelopment Task Force, all of these different kinds of conversations were important. There are those personal, kind of as Commissioner Dixit talks about, kind of maybe that individual conversation. There could be the slightly more formal where, as Commissioner Buchholz talked about, those talks with specific groups like CSRS or PTAs or things of that nature. So I think a combination of all of those are important in kind of the outreach effort. And so I think if that is something that the commission is interested in, I think it would just be important for staff to kind of know what type of outreach is being done, and just so that we have a handle on what efforts are kind of being put forward. And so we could take a look at just noting when some of those informal conversations are having, or even the discussions at maybe some of the groups as well.
Is there a pickleball court at the community center?
At the community center, no.
No.
So we do have indoor pickleball at Egan Gym, but it is not currently at the Los Altos community.
Because my next door neighbor is a fanatic. And so speaking to that group, I certainly can get an invite to learn pickleball and tell them, help them learn about the city. Because they would like to convert every tennis court.
So no, absolutely. So I'm hearing a couple of different ideas. It sounds like the commission wants to start having maybe some of these conversations. Maybe we focus on timeline of maybe when we would like to see some of those things, and then maybe I don't know if the recertification subcommittee would like to put a draft of just basic talking points of just topics that might be important to cover in some of these informal, formal conversations. Those are the kind of the two things, and then obviously identifying groups or individuals that can happen to help build that awareness. Other thoughts or suggestions that I've missed is as the conversation is kind of brought some really good ideas. Anything that I've missed?
I wonder if there's any use in speaking with first responders, because they're the people who pick up the elder from the floor if they can't get up, and certainly know who the frequent flyers are who need trips to the ER. I talked with the police chief, and it's obvious that the privacy must be observed, but at least educating the first responders about telling people where there are other recreational resources. Chris?
I think we need to think about this flyer and what it's going to look like. And that is, Jamie, that's with your staff group that's going to help put that together. And I think that could lead us to the talking points that we could then expand on once we have something in the hard copy to at least pass out, or if you're suggesting with the first responders that they would have something, or the policemen.
Well, the talking points have to come from a group of people, because no one person's going to have all the points.
Okay.
So I invite you. Everybody has had some committee where they've looked at the checklist, so at least there's an education about those topics. So come on, folks. Because I know where you live.
Maybe process-wise, what I might suggest is that each of the subcommittees comes up with maybe a few brief points that are poignant to your subcommittee that could be submitted to staff. We can compile and that could be a topic for the November meeting. The group as the whole, as a commission, can approve and finalize that, and then we would be ready maybe after that meeting to then have the those talking points ready for what, and then it would also give time for the commission to think about individuals, groups that might be poignant to start that that outreach process.
Okay.
Good ideas.
All right, so I think we have our first agenda topic for November. And so between now and then, if the subcommittees can just send high level points. Again, this is not necessarily where, because 8 domains, that's a lot of information. I think we're trying to start with the awareness and talking about those summary high level points. If you can send those to myself and Candace, we will put those together and have it ready for our November meeting so that the commission can look at it as a whole and approve.
Okay.
Okay. Terrific.
Tony, the mic is yours. But you don't have it on.
My bad. Are we ready to move on to our next topic? That's outdoor spaces and buildings.
Okay, that was with me and Commissioner Basigi, and we have not been able to connect in this last month, so we're not prepared to give anything at this time. So if we could move it to next month, that would be great.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Okay, next up is transportation, the subcommittee.
Basigi and O'Reilly, we have not met. I've been on a trip and had a visit from COVID, but so I haven't been very terribly active here, but we will do the same. And I would say the same to the housing subcommittee. Although I've done a little bit of work on that, I have not been able to meet with Basigi to.
Okay, so you want to move both of those to next month?
Yes.
Very good. Sharvari, you're on mute.
Yeah, Commissioner O'Reilly.
Yes.
I met somebody who used to live in Los Altos, but now has moved out of Los Altos, and she wanted to discuss, or at least find out some more about the housing. Is this something that is okay for somebody who's not currently living in Los Altos to be involved with?
Yes, I believe if it's information and relevant, we gather from everywhere. Although our focus is Los Altos, but I personally am not bound by the boundary lines of our city.
So I'll connect her with Jamie. How about that? And then
yes,
we'll go from there. Okay, thank you.
Very good. And next up is civic participation and employment. And that would be yours truly. Oh, okay, so I have some slides, but I'm apparently not allowed to screen share.
Give me just a moment.
Technology.
Gotta love it.
You should be able to now.
Thank you very much. All right. Very good. Can everyone see slides?
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
good. So I wanted to add 2 goals to our list. I want to raise awareness about age discrimination, and then also attracting more employers to the area without losing the feel of the village. And I think both of these are challenging topics. Age discrimination is actually rampant here. I've seen a lot of cases of it. All of it's done legally. I know of no instances where people are actually being illegal. But there are lots and lots of cases where people are doing things like having early retirement programs. Oh, gee, you're 50 years old and you've been with the company for 10 years. We're going to give you a package so you can retire early. And if you don't take the package, we're going to lay you off. So, your choice. And then there's a lot of discrimination that happens at hire time, a lot of interviews where, I'm sorry, but you don't fit with our team. And what you really find out through the back door is, well, the real problem is they don't want a father figure working with them. They like having a young team. And so what we really have here is a cultural problem. Seniors are not seen as contributing as much. They seem to cost more. And to be frank, certainly on salary, that sometimes happens, but definitely on health coverage. That actually does have an impact on a company because it shows up in health insurance premiums. So there are some serious issues here, and discussing them is probably worthwhile. I'm not expecting any magic bullets here, but one goal to be considering. Another question for us is about getting more employment in the area. Right now, the zoning and land pricing combination in Los Altos and in the hills is just not competitive for businesses. As you know, land prices are through the roof. And if you wanted to start any kind of business in the area and say have an office, the number of people you can put in that space is relatively limited because zoning limits how many people you can have given the height of a building and parking spaces and all of that. We really, really would love to have office space that scales and is competitively priced with neighboring cities. If you take a look at what Mountain View is doing, they've got no problems filling up large buildings with lots of office space, but we don't zone that way, so we haven't attracted that. And at the same time, we don't want to lose the village. We can do some of this on El Camino maybe, but that's not clear that we can do that easily or to any significant extent. But this is a challenge, and we should raise this challenge. So that's all I had to say. Any comments or questions?
That was one of the best presentations that we've made.
Thank you. All right, and I did include all of the checklist items here in the slides if you want to take a look at them, but I'm not going to bore you by talking through them. I did look at them. I do feel we actually cover all of them, so I don't think that they're worth worrying about too much. Very good.
I think you described it very well. As you go through those, my mind says, well, what's the solution to that? And I'm drawing blanks.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's hard to encourage employers to change their mindset.
Well, I don't think that we have too much to ensure change the mindset so much as just the general culture. It's not just the employers, it's the employees too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you very much, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right, next up, we're going to review the work plan again.
So if you note, this is the updated work plan at our last meeting in September. The commission agreed that it would make sense to adjust the listing so that it matches the order in which the WHO lists their 8 domains. So all of the information is the same. It has just been reordered to the order in which the WHO lists the domains. That is the main update, but wanted to bring it forward to the commission so that you could see the new format and the new order, and to see if there are any changes or updates that are needed at this time. And if everything looks good, a confirmation of that would be great as well too.
Can we scroll?
Jamie?
No.
Jamie, for the civic participation and employment?
Yes.
And
that would be on the second page, Candace.
Yep. So could we please add 2 bullet items here? The bullet points on my slides?
Yes, we can.
Thank you.
And commissioners, please let us know if you need us to show or adjust to show any of the areas, any other updates or edits that are needed.
I think in the health care, I know that Jane and I both are concerned about isolation and the non-digitized seniors, so that they don't always get the information. So I would say, as with the communication committee right above that, that we need to look at ways to reach people who are not necessarily going to get email and act on it.
Okay. We will summarize that and include that edit on the work plan.
Thank you.
Could I ask a question at this time?
Absolutely.
Please.
Okay, so I met somebody yesterday who asked a question about this isolation aspect. What she said was that, is it possible to create something like a phone tree that we would be able to reach out to people who live by themselves? And first of all, we don't know who lives by themselves. And second, I don't know if this is something that would invade privacy, or I said I'd get back to her, but do we ever do anything like that?
Great question, Commissioner Dixit. And during the pandemic, the one thing I will highlight is that we did, and if there are further questions, our recreation coordinator, Cherry Anderson, can probably speak to the specifics. But during the pandemic, when we were in the shelter in place, our adult 50+ staff actually, we called them sunshine calls at the time, because we, the city and recreation, everything was shut down. We were not doing programs or events. And so we refocused our staff to provide hotlines for resources. And so now when we did this, again, it was during the pandemic, and through our recreation database, we reached out to those that we had. Now we realized that some contact information was outdated, so obviously we got wrong numbers or things of that nature, but we were able to connect with some. That was a specific program that was focused when we weren't doing kind of programs and events and those kinds of things, because it does take quite a bit of staff time to make. They made a lot of phone calls during the pandemic. But, if we hear suggestions or things of that nature, we'll definitely take that into consideration and see if that's something that we can look into, or if there are resources that we could connect those individuals to so that we can achieve the same goal. But we'll take that as a note and see if that's something that we can look into.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Just to add a note, I heard really positive feedback from people who received those calls. it was so much more than a pro forma, how are you doing? People felt engaged. It was just a wonderful thing. A very talented staff we have, very empathetic. I thought it was wonderful.
That's always nice to hear. Thank you for sharing that, Commissioner O'Reilly. It's always good to know that the efforts and the programs that we try to put forward are positively received.
Mm-hmm.
Any other edits or changes besides the two that were highlighted? Then we will go ahead and incorporate those two suggested edits into the work plan. And this is kind of an ongoing, so you will see the updated version in your next packet for November.
Excellent, thank you. All right, that means it's time for us to move on to our informational items. Next up is flyers.
Yep, you will see quite a bit of information here, and I just wanted to highlight, we have quite a few flyers. As we kind of talked about at the very beginning of the meeting, I've been saying this to staff, but I feel like we're on a downward slope to the holidays. People were highlighting that you're already seeing, Christmas decorations, and so usually the holidays, lots of activity and events going on. So we just wanted to highlight for information upcoming events both for Los Altos and Los Altos Hills. So those are included in your packet. The other piece I wanted to share, and you will note that we included the age-friendly documents. And so anything that is shared with the commission, we are including in the packet so that the public has access as well. That is part of the reason why this particular packet was so large, because it has obviously the age-friendly guide and the 3 example action plans that Sarah Robustelli from Los Altos Hills shared. So I just wanted to provide context for why you're seeing that as informational. And as you note, it was just listed as information that was requested and received by the commissioners and the commission. And finally, coming out of our September meeting, the commission discussed wanting to just have a kind of a baseline or just an idea of some of the cultural activities that stemmed from Commissioner Dixit sharing some of the cultural events that were coming up in October. So she actually just put something together. This was also a project because Commissioner Dixit wears 2 hats. She's also on the Library Commission. This is something that she shared with the county library staff. But this is just informational of some of the global activities and celebrations, cultural things that are going on locally and around the world. So all of those pieces are included as information in your packet for October.
Yes, and a quick update on that. The library is going to host a display of books related to India and related to Diwali, starting the 16th of October till the 30th. So that comes into the time frame of the Diwali. So, cool.
Thank you, Commissioner Dixit. Oh, Vice Chair, you're on mute.
Sorry. Item number 9 is our age-friendly documents.
Yep. This is included informationally. So we have, and again, this was just information that had been previously sent to the commission. As we move towards, again, this is just information included on the guide, which was obviously published by the WHO. and then the 3 example action plans, which staff liaison Sarah Robustelli from Los Altos Hills shared as well too.
And the next item, Sharvari has prepared a cultural calendar for us.
She did. It was a compilation which she shared as information. And the other thing I will highlight too, just to give a small plug, we are in collaboration with our Adult 50 Plus program and the cultural group that Commissioner Dixit has been active in. There is an upcoming event at the community center. And so I know Commissioner Dixit has extended an invitation and happy to send more information out. But as she just highlighted too, the library is also doing a display in support of that cultural event as well.
Very cool. All right. Next up is future agenda items. Number 11, commission and subcommittee reports. So I know we've added a bunch today. Are there anything else we need to add?
We're transportation and housing need to be forwarded and put on this list. We no report this meeting. So I would add them to the next senior committee meeting. My suggestion.
Jamie, you have that down?
We do.
Very good. Thank you. Anything else we need to add there? All right.
And before, sorry, Vice Chair Lee. Because I know we have those pieces for future agenda items, but we also do have the staff oral reports. And I don't know if the other subcommittees had anything to share this month. I know we had the latter half be in the items for consideration. Wasn't sure if any of the other subcommittees had anything to share this time around.
I'm hearing silence.
Which is okay too.
Okay, very good. Then I think we're on to the staff oral reports.
All right, I will go ahead and kick us off. So the few things that I have to share is I did just email out. I apologize for the tardiness of getting that out, but I did send the link to SourceWise just so that the commission as a whole can know where to access the information on it, and that is through Santa Clara County. They have an advisory council for SourceWise, which is kind of like a larger version of senior commission for a lot of the individual cities that you see. But I did send out that link and just wanted to highlight that here during my my staff report so that you would know to look for that in your email. And again, just a link to their website. All of their meetings are hosted virtually, and their information is listed pretty clearly on the website. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to get additional information or support if that is needed. Fall is upon us. We're kind of in the middle of it, but our activities and programs will go through the end of December. So we do still have quite a few classes and programs that are available, and you can register for those online through our software platform. It's called Civic Rec. You can also come visit us in the Adult 50 Plus spaces, either at Grant or at the community center or the main reception for the community center if you would like to come see us in person and sign up for anything that is coming up. And then fall events, we do have a couple of things coming up. Both happen to fall on the same day. It's October 22nd. So during the day, we have our Family Fun Day, which of course is going to be themed for Halloween, and that will be 10 to 2 at the community center. I will say the last one that we had, which was September 24th, our numbers on participation increased. We probably had about 400 individuals and families that came to visit the community center throughout the day. We actually, and I give the staff a lot of credit, we ran out of some of the activities. They had purchased like little birdhouses that the youth could paint. And so, of course, being Parks and Recreation, we had a variety of other crafts and activities that we had to pull out. So a lot of credit to staff, but we're planning for larger numbers because we figured during the holidays, families are looking for those types of activities. And so we're excited that this is a well-utilized and bringing awareness to the community center as well. And then in the evening, again, we have our movie in the park, which will be at Grant Park. And that again is in the evening on the same day, October 22nd, which is a Saturday. We'll be featuring Monsters, Inc. And given when sundown is, the movie will probably start around 7 or 7:15. And so, of course, it's going to be bring your own chairs or blanket, however you would like to be out. And I would like to highlight that the Los Altos Mountain View Community Foundation is a partner in this event. So it is a shared event between the two of us, Parks and Recreation and the Community Foundation. So that is all of my updates. And I would like to turn it over to Cherry Anderson, our Recreation Coordinator for our Adult 50 Plus program.
Thank you, Jamie. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to say that the events and activities that we had in September have, as Jamie was saying, have had just wonderful numbers. More and more of our participants are coming out. They're coming back. It's kind of like having a family reunion. We had a coffee on the patio, and I had to go out and get more food because more people came, and that's a good problem to have. I'd also like to say that our pickleball program we've added another court. We now have 4 courts at Egan Gym, and it's a blowout every week. Every time we have a Monday, Wednesday night now, we have easily 36 to 40 people coming to pickleball, and more are coming. I'm hoping that the outdoor pickleball courts will help accommodate some of these folks who are coming to the indoors. But things are really picking up, as Jamie was saying, and we're really excited about that. I know that we're getting ready. This is October, and I know I shared with you last month that some of the things that are happening in October. And one of those is the Diwali event. More people are starting to ask about it, and the word is getting out. And then that's happening on October 11th. And as Senior Commissioner Chair Shivari is saying, we're looking at accommodating quite a few with good food, good dance. And so if you want to come out and just take a look at that and see, I'm looking forward to seeing it because I've never been to an event like this. So if you have any ideas that you want to come, that'll be starting at about 10 a.m. and that'll be on October 11th in the Cedar Sycamore patio area. We might have to spread out because again, more and more people are coming, but we'll be working on that together. And then tomorrow we have our first ever meetup. I know I shared that with you last month, and we have 12 participants who are going to meet us down at Shoreline Park. And we're just going to have a good time having lunch, having a nice walk. We're going to tour the Ringstorff House. And so we're anticipating more to come, actually. People do tend to kind of drop in these days as opposed to sign up. So we're excited about that. And we're looking forward to having our workshop where we're going to be having greeting cards for the military service personnel. And that's going to be happening on October 25th, right in the Cedar Sycamore area. And that's going to start at 10 a.m. And we're getting signups for that as well. And then, of course, our movie days are starting to fill up too. We're going to be showing The First Wives Club on October 20th at 12:30 in the Sycamore Room. And then we're going to have our chocolate lovers, as I was sharing with you, our chocolate lovers luncheon on October 12th. We have action-packed month this month. It's just back-to-back activities. So feel free to contact us if you have any questions. Oh, let me not forget the Historic Fund in Frisco, the Los Altos mini trip to San Francisco. We're going to be touring houses in the Walt Disney Museum, and that's happening on October 13th. So we're looking at October 10th, 11th, no, October 11th, 12th, and 13th, just action-packed. And from there, the end of the month, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's like, anybody want to come out? You can come out and share some time. We'll put you to work. But that's pretty much what we have for now. Thank you for listening.
Any questions for the Los Altos staff? All right, and I will share. Staff liaison Sarah Robustelli was not able to join us today, but we are lucky to have Chris in her place. So Chris, I'll turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, commissioners. It's a pleasure to attend in Sarah's absence this afternoon. I'd like to share 3 upcoming community activities and then 3 upcoming senior program highlights with you. As noted in item 8 of your packet, where the flyers were saved, we have a few upcoming community activities in the month of October. We have a Guess the Giant Pumpkins Wait, as well as a Trick or Treat at Town Hall, both very much on theme for fall and Halloween. There is also the town is proud to announce a first ever TEDx Los Altos Hills, which will be happening January 28th, 2023. The theme of power and creativity in Silicon Valley. The speaker application form is currently available on the event website, which is tedxlosaltoshills.com, and the deadline for speakers is October 10th, 2022. This event was approved and funded by the Los Altos Hills City Council and is being spearheaded by a Los Altos Hills resident, Meta Nikki Rishi. It's a ticketed event limited to 100 people. It's also working closely with the Community Relations Committee. The final community event I wanted to share is a joint effort, Veterans Day celebration, which will be held November 11th from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Veterans Plaza in downtown Los Altos. And as promised, 3 senior program highlights. The first is a partnership with First Light Home Care, who's partnered with Los Altos Hills Parks and Recreation to deliver a 3-part educational series for our senior community, their families, and anyone interested in education and planning for the future. It's called Breakfast of Champions, and it's focused on putting the building blocks in place for intelligent aging, how to create a dementia-friendly environment, and are people financially and emotionally prepared for their elder years. That's taking place on October 26th, Wednesday, from 11 a.m. to noon, in person at Town Hall. We also have an upcoming program later this month called Make Your Home Your Gym. It's a virtual class on how you can learn to become your own personal trainer in your own private home gym. That's, again, a virtual program. It's on October 26th, 10 to 11 a.m. on Zoom. Finally, if we could all save the date for one of our most beloved senior favorite events. It's called Technology for Seniors. It's presented by the Los Altos Hills Youth Commission, and it's happening January 14th, Saturday at Town Hall, where Youth Commission volunteers provide basic tutorials and walkthroughs on how to use your technology. That's it for my report.
Thank you, Chris. How do we get tickets for that TEDx talk?
Yeah, I can go ahead and, let's see here. I'm sorry, I'm on my iPad. The event website, I can read that back to everyone, is, pardon me, TEDxlosaltoshills.com. TED losaltoshills.com.
And we can also facilitate forwarding that to the commission as well, too.
That'd be great.
Thank you very much. Anyone have anything else? I move that we adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good job, Tony.
Nice.
Thank you, guys.